Okay, so if I could have Sophie and Elliott, it's a double act today. We've been hearing a lot about when we come together, like we are this morning, and praying with, knowing what God is saying and praying that in, God changes things. And he also does that for us in our individual walks. Let me get between you. So, children, this is a very interesting story that you'll want to hear. Are you ready? Okay, so it's about Elliot and two situations where he's prayed and God's changed something, and we'll hear about that in a minute. But we have to hear this bit from Sophie. So Sophie had had a kind of medical procedure, and it had left her with a very kind of tricky issue.
Couldn't stop burping.
She couldn't stop burping. And there was one night it was particularly bad. What happened?
So if I go to sleep, I decided that I can't have drink or food 2 hours before I go to bed, but I must have done it on this day. I lied down, wasn't being able to sleep, I had to just bolt upright, sit and just burp. It just wasn't getting me to sleep, and I was just a bit fed up, and I was like, oh, something's got to change.
And she asked Elliot to pray. She was desperate. Elliot, what did you pray?
Originally I told her to run around and to release it. She was running. This was almost like midnight, so she was running around like trying to get it out. But then I just prayed, God, I prayed will let everything just come out right now.
And what happened?
I went,
for a very long time. And then was able to go to sleep. Now, that's a funny story, but it's also quite a serious story because Sophie couldn't get to sleep and neither could Elliot with the noise going on. But then, Elliot, you've also seen God do something at work. So tell us about that.
So I have this colleague who has this, it might be a neurological issue. She gets, before she used to get attacks with, her fingers will go numb and, her left side will go numb. She will feel faint and really weak, and her muscles will feel weak. Surgeons don't know what it is, what it could be. So she was telling me, and during the talk last week, and we were talking about the burning feeling in the stomach, I had that moment, and I just stepped out in faith and prayed for her, just at work. And then since then, she hasn't had any attacks, but we're still just having faith to find out what the issue is. But yeah.
Isn't that amazing? At work, felt a nudge, he prayed, and she hasn't had any symptoms of that since. And it's the same thing. And Jamie said to us last week, what are you asking God to bring your faith into action? These are examples, and let's be hearing more. And you be ready this week to see what does God say to you, that burning feeling or that sense of something that you pray and God does. Thank you, guys.